Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had the opportunity to rise in this House not long ago and ask the government what it was doing about what has very clearly become a crisis that has made it so Canadians cannot afford food. We know that food bank usage across the country is experiencing record highs. Food banks all over have huge demands, including in my riding, where the St. Thomas Elgin Food Bank will have to feed 30,000 mouths this year. This is the third straight year of record increases. Now, I asked about this, and I'm going to quote directly from the Secretary of State for Labour, who responded. He said, "We are going to be building. We are building homes and building projects in the national interest with Canadian lumber, Canadian steel, and Canadian unionized workers." Now, I'm not sure what the affordability plan for groceries is, but I don't believe Canadians are going to be eating Canadian lumber. I don't believe Canadians are going to be eating Canadian steel, and I certainly hope they're not going to be eating Canadian unionized workers. The government, in its response, didn't even address groceries or food costs, and I understand why. I know fully well why the government is not interested in talking about grocery prices, because they would have to acknowledge what has happened to them on the Liberal government's watch. We know that food bank usage is up 142% since 2015. We know that grocery store food prices have risen by a staggering 40% since the Liberals took power. And now we have a report from Food Banks Canada showing that hunger is being normalized. Normalized. That's a word from the experts. That now food bank usage for Canadian families has not become something that is an extreme situation, that is just a temporary stopgap, but rather is part of what life is for them. That is a tragedy, Mr. Speaker. It is a crisis, and it is one that has been aggravated and exacerbated by Liberal government policy. We do know, contrary to what I'm sure the Parliamentary Secretary is going to say tonight, there is a number of hidden taxes. There are a number of hidden taxes on food costs in this country, including the industrial carbon tax, which actually taxes the producers of food, which then trickles downstream to consumers. Regulations on plastics and packaging, which make it more expensive for producers and packagers of food, and then that gets passed along to consumers. These are hidden taxes on groceries that, along with other inflationary measures, are driving up the costs for Canadians of buying groceries. I have heard from constituents who have had to make difficult choices from week to week about whether they fill up their car so they can get to work or whether they buy groceries. We know people are skipping meals because they cannot afford the grocery store hauls that they used to. Is this the new normal, Mr. Speaker? Is this what Canadians are going to be forced to contend with? Because we have not seen from the government anything resembling a plan. And in fact, when we talk about very real, very demonstrable driving factors that push up the cost of food, the Liberals try to gaslight Canadians and say they don't exist. They try to say there are no clean fuel standards that are making it more costly to move goods around. They're saying there are no costs to the packaging requirements. They are gaslighting Canadians, and in doing so, ignoring that they have access to mechanisms and solutions that we are happy to give them, that will make life more affordable for Canadians and will reduce the prices at the grocery store. So my question for the government is very simple. Will the Liberals stop their gaslighting and get serious about reducing the cost for Canadians at the grocery store?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Environment and Climate Change.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my colleague across the way. Faced with unjustified tariffs from the U.S. and shifting global supply chains, our new government is well aware of the affordability challenges facing Canadians. Though we have begun to see encouraging signs of stabilization, housing prices have gone up in recent years, and although Canada's inflation rate has been within the Bank of Canada's target rate for 21 consecutive months, we know that food inflation remains a concern as well. That is why our government is taking immediate action to address this cost of living crisis. Our goal is to bring down costs so Canadians can keep more of their paychecks and spend it where it matters most to them. Budget 2025 will build upon this important work, and that's already been done by Mr. Speaker. But as well, we all await the tabling of that historic document. Let me outline a few ways our government has already acted decisively to make life more affordable for Canadians. Amongst the first pieces of legislation introduced by our new government, Mr. Speaker, was Bill C-4, which delivered a middle-class tax cut to allow hardworking Canadians to keep more money in their pockets. I am proud to note that this tax cut will save a two-income family up to $840 in 2026, and going forward is expected to deliver over $27 billion in tax savings to Canadians over the next 5 years. This rate reduction will benefit Canadians across the country, and the bulk of the middle-class tax cut will go to those with incomes in the two lowest tax brackets, including nearly half to those in the first bracket, $57,375 and below in 2025. With this middle-class tax cut, the lowest marginal personal income tax rate was reduced from 15% to 14% effective July 1st, 2025. And now this tax cut is helping hardworking Canadians keep more of their paychecks to spend where it matters most. And that's not all, Mr. Speaker. This legislation, which I'm happy to announce finished clause-by-clause consideration at FINA earlier today, will also eliminate the GST for the first-time home buyers on new homes at up to and under $1 million, and lower the GST for first-time home buyers on new homes between $1 million and $1.5 million. Doing so will save Canadians up to $50,000, allowing more young people and families to enter the housing market and realize their dream of home ownership. Providing GST relief means Canadians will face lower upfront housing costs and keep more money in their pocket. This will also have a dynamic effect on increasing supply, spurring the construction of new homes across the country. And it has removed the consumer carbon tax, saving Canadians money at the pump. I am happy that all parties joined us in supporting Bill C-4. Unfortunately, that nonpartisanship approach to making life more affordable for Canadians has not translated elsewhere. While the Conservatives continue to talk down the Canadian economy and Canadian workers, we are stepping up in other ways as well. We plan to spur the construction of new homes through the newly launched Build Canada Homes initiative, which will increase Canada's supply of affordable housing and play a pivotal role in government's plan to help double the pace of housing construction over the next decade. The Prime Minister also recently announced that we are making the National School Food Program permanent to provide meals for up to 400,000 children, and this program will ensure kids are fed healthy meals at school and saves families and two children $800 per year on groceries. While the Conservatives may refer to this program as garbage, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to see them say that to the families in my riding. I'd like to see them say that to the families in my riding, as I said earlier, in my community of Musqueam, where I see kids going to school with smiles on their face, food in their belly, and excelling in their schoolwork like they haven't done in many generations. So with these measures, we are delivering change to cut taxes, bring down costs, and put money back in the pockets of Canadians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Elgin St. Thomas, London South.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect to the Honorary Parliamentary Secretary, I think he may have been getting his talking points mixed up. I was asking about grocery store prices. I wasn't asking about new home construction, which is a very important issue, and if we had more time, we could talk to other areas in which the Liberal government has failed to serve the needs of Canadians. But I was asking about food costs. I was asking when the government is going to stop pretending that there are not regulations and taxes embedded in the prices of groceries that Canadians are forced to pay. So this remains a live issue, but since the Parliamentary Secretary wants to talk about everything other than that, I'll latch on to one thing he mentioned, which was the school food program. I agree that no family should have to go without healthy, affordable, fresh food. Why is a school food program in the government's eyes necessary after 10 years of Liberals?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, as Canadians, we take care of each other. It's a promise at the heart of who we are, and it goes back generations. From universal public health care to employment insurance to strong, stable funded pensions like the Canadian Pension Plan, there's always been an agreement that we will take care of our neighbours and when they are in need. Our government is laser focused on lowering costs and will continue to present serious solutions to ensure Canadians are better off. On November 4th, our colleague, the Minister of Finance and National Revenue, will present the federal budget. This budget will present the next steps in our plan to catalyze investment and build a united and strong economy, one that creates higher paying careers, raises incomes, and can withstand global shocks, and that will make us the strongest economy in the G7. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.